Good evening, and welcome back to our fourth episode of Right Side Now. I'm Liz Willis, and tonight, RSBN will bring you real news on what's happening right now. President Trump takes his first step on Air Force One. Mexico's president cancels the meeting with the President Trump, and 7 people, including 4 juveniles, were shot in 3 separate shootings last night. Now, we wouldn't be RSBN if we weren't following Trump's every move. President Trump took his first trip on Air Force One today, flying to Philadelphia to speak to the annual retreat of Republican congressional lawmakers. Let's take a look.
Enough all talk, no action. We have to deliver. This is our chance to achieve great and lasting change for our beloved nation. Since taking office, I have taken major contractual steps to restore the rule of law and to return power to everyday Americans.
President Trump covered a huge list of agenda items for the start of his administration, such as building the wall, repealing Obamacare, renegotiating trade deals, and increasing spending on infrastructure. President Trump also addressed the cancellation of his scheduled meeting with Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto. Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto canceled a meeting with President Trump. The meeting was scheduled for next week. President Peña posted a tweet from his own personal Twitter account today in Spanish that translates to, "This morning, we have informed the White House that I will not attend the meeting scheduled for next Tuesday with President of the United States." Trump said of the cancellation, "Unless Mexico is going to treat the United States fairly, with respect, such a meeting would be fruitless, and I want to go to a different route. We have no choice." And Washington police reported 3 separate shootings last night. Yesterday afternoon in D.C., there were multiple shootings as 7 people, including 4 juveniles, were shot. Police are saying the shootings occurred within a half hour of each other in Washington, D.C. 2 male juveniles suffered non-life-threatening injuries after being shot at Minnesota Avenue and Grant Street in Northeast D.C. at around 4:09 p.m. Police were on the lookout for 2 teenagers. One of them was wearing a light blue jacket, and the other was wearing a red jacket while armed with a gun. They were last seen in a white Volkswagen vehicle with tinted windows and unknown Maryland tags. Also, 2 male juveniles were shot at around 4:34 p.m. in the 5300 block of Bass Place in Southeast D.C. Victims in this shooting also suffered non-life-threatening injuries and were conscious and breathing when police arrived. A 3rd shooting also happened at the same time at 4:34 p.m. in the 600 block of Mellon Street in Southeast D.C. 2 men and 1 woman were wounded with non-life-threatening injuries. All of the victims in these shootings were transported to the hospital. And across the pond, a Chinese man cycled 500 kilometers, or to simply put it, 310 miles, determined to make an epic cycling trip home in order to celebrate Chinese New Year with his family in China's most northeasternly province. But instead of going northwards, he went far south. A report from the People's Online Daily said the man had been living in internet cafes and was low on funds. The unnamed man could not read maps, meaning he had to rely on others for directions. Police stopped him when he was riding on a highway which cannot be used by cyclists. After discovering his mistake, both police and the people working at the toll station that he was stopped at contributed to his ticket home. Gotta love a happy ending. Moving on to technology and science. Astronauts are getting some pretty fly gear. NASA unveiled its newest spacesuits. The astronauts who fly aboard Boeing's new spaceship will be rocking sleek blue suits, complete with touchscreen gloves, zippered entry, and a communication headset, as well as brand new shoes. Let's go to a clip now from www.nasa.gov to have a look. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla and Spacex, is making headlines again. Not only does he want to save humanity by self-driving electric cars, now he also wants to save humanity from traffic. Musk has a solution for traffic: tunnels. He's been tweeting for weeks about the soul-destroying traffic that happens in Los Angeles, and he claims that tunnels are the key to solving urban gridlock. He plans to build a tunnel boring machine and, quote, says he's just gonna start digging. Yesterday, Musk tweeted, "Exciting progress on the tunnel front. Plan to start digging in a month or so." Well, all right then, Mr. Musk, I can dig it. And you may be wondering what time it is. Well, according to the bulletin of the atomic scientist, the Doomsday Clock is 2.5 minutes to midnight. The last 2 years, the minute hand of the Doomsday Clock stayed set at 3 minutes before the hour. The closest to midnight came in 1953 when it was 2 minutes to midnight due to the U.S. test of the hydrogen bomb. And in 2017, they find the danger to be even greater and the need for action is more urgent. For those that do not know about the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientist or what the Doomsday Clock is, the Doomsday Clock is a design that warns the public about how close we are to destroying our world with dangerous technologies of our own making. It is a metaphor, a reminder of the perils that we must address if we are to survive. When the Doomsday Clock was created in 1947, the greatest danger to humanity came from nuclear weapons. In particular, from the prospect that the United States of America and the Soviet Union were headed for a nuclear arms race. The bulletin considered possible catastrophic disruptions from climate change in its hand-setting deliberations for the first time in 2007. Now back to politics. British Prime Minister Theresa May flew to Philadelphia to address the GOP leaders. Today, Prime Minister May told the GOP that the UK and America must stand up for our interests and we cannot return to failed interventionist policies. She also said the UK and the United States must renew the special relationship for the new age and lead together again. Tomorrow, she will meet with President Trump, and she will be the first foreign leader to meet with him. And more on the border. The New York Times posted today that President Trump plans to make Mexico pay for the wall by imposing a 20% tax on all imports into the United States from Mexico, raising billions of dollars to cover the cost. This plan came hours after President Peña Nieto canceled this morning. The Washington Post later wrote that Sean Spicer subsequently appeared to backtrack the previous statement regarding the tax increase and told reporters that the tax was just one idea to pay for the wall and his intent was not to roll out a new policy. And former U.S. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright has expressed her readiness to register as Muslim, responding to reports that President Donald Trump plans to legally force all America's Muslims to register their religious identity. Albright also said that there is no fine print on the Statue of Liberty, and America must remain open to people of all faiths and of all backgrounds. She went on to say that she was raised Catholic, became Episcopalian, and then found out later her family was Jewish. Now let's get on to some entertainment. Trump's former beauty pageant system, Miss Universe, is having a busy week. There are 3 days until the final Miss Universe competition. Finals will air live Sunday, January 29th on Fox at 7/6 Central. This year's competition is being held in Manila. All 86 contestants from around the world competed just this morning in their preliminaries for swimsuit and evening gown. The scores from prelims will help to determine the final 12 contestants announced during the Miss Universe broadcast. The USA's very own Deshauna Barber will be competing for the coveted title as Miss USA 2016. She stunned this morning at prelims in her red evening gown. Deshauna Barber is the first woman actively serving in the U.S. Reserve to win the title of Miss USA. After completing her Master's of Science in Computer Information Systems, Deshauna returned to live in Washington, D.C., where she won her state pageant and moved on to compete for Miss USA, and now Miss Universe. Best of luck, Deshauna. We hope you get that crown. More in entertainment. For some of you who may not be in the know, Seinfeld and Netflix will be working together. Seinfeld's new deal with Netflix grants the streaming service the previous 9 seasons of the show Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and a new 10th season along with 2 stand-up specials. Starting in late 2017, Netflix will house 24 new episodes of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. And what you haven't heard in the news, in Argentina, an owner and his dogs went to a river to play fetch. The irresponsible owner decided to play fetch in apparently the most dangerous part of the river. The poor pup lost his footing and began to get swept away by the current. Luckily for the dog, who went after the stick, he had his puppy pal close by. Let's take a look.
¿Lo rescato? Sí, sí.
Talk about some serious puppy power. Well, thanks for tuning in to Right Side Now. Stay tuned for Raised Right with Cassie Dillon and Will Nardi at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at RSBN Network, on Facebook at Right Side Broadcasting, on our website at rsbn.tv. And if you would like a story covered, please email us at feedback@rsbn.tv. Live from Auburn, Alabama, I'm Liz Willis. God bless you, America, and good night.